Welcome to Orange October. It is Saturday, October 7th, 2023. It's been a crazy sports weekend here in Baltimore, and it's going to be continuing into tomorrow. And the weather, we had a Indian summer, for all intents and purposes, week this week, with temperatures being up to the 70s and 80s all week. And then after a rainstorm this morning, a cold front rolled through. And let me show you what the temperature is right now here in Reisterstown, Maryland. 50 degrees. Yes, 50. It is refreshing. I went for a stroll this evening after the Orioles game, and it was, for lack of a better word, a refreshing walk. A little windy, a little cool, but nice. Fall is here, and fall is here to stay from what it looks like. The next 10 days, we got 66, 58, 59, 62, 64, 66, 68, 67, and 59. Lows 49, 45, 42, 44, 44, 46, 50, 55, 50, and 49. So that leads us through next week. So I think we can officially say fall is here. Some of the trees are starting to change a little bit in the area. Not quite fully just yet, but will be very shortly, I'm sure. And it's another episode of Dylan Knows, episode 521, Orange October. It is October. It is Orange October because my Baltimore Orioles are in the playoffs for the first time in forever. Their first playoff game was today against Texas Rangers. And it didn't end like we wanted it to. They lost 3-2. It's okay. It's game one. It's best 3 out of 5. We still got 4 more to play, and we tend to lose the first game of a series, it seems like, and then we settle down and work our way through things. So here's hoping things work out better. A lot of people I know went to today's game. A lot of people I know, including my brother-in-law, are going to tomorrow's game. Tomorrow, the Orioles play their second playoff game in Baltimore against Texas around 4 o'clock, which will be right after the Baltimore Ravens-Pittsburgh Steelers rivalry game in Pittsburgh, which will be happening at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So we got that going on. University of Maryland took on number 2 Ohio State and lost, but only by 20. And for a while there, Maryland was in the catbird seat. They lost 37-17. So they weren't blown out. 20 points really isn't that much. And they had control of the game pretty much until the second half, and they started losing control a little bit after that. So all in all, good effort on their part. So not a good way to start off this amazing sports weekend. Plus, we've got the Billy Joel Stevie Nicks concert. Should be just about wrapping up right now, or might have like another 20 minutes left in it down at M&T Bank Stadium. So that's why there was a bit of confusion. That's why the Orioles game was on at 1 o'clock today. Actually, technically, it's 2:15 because the rain delayed it a little bit because the Billy Joel Stevie Nicks concert is going to be at M&T Bank tonight at 8 o'clock. And it shares a parking lot with Orioles Park at Camden Yards, so you can't have both stadiums doing stuff at night because parking would be an absolute disaster. So they had to shift the Oriole game to a 1 o'clock game, and then the concert stayed the same time, so that made a little more sense. So a little bit of a crazy traffic after the Oriole game, but a great atmosphere. Joe Jett did the national anthem. Adam Jones throughout the first pitch. So in all, good day here. My wife and daughter are camping this weekend for something with our Order of the Arrow. Hopefully they're comfortable enough out in this coolish weather. My son decided that he wanted to go spend the night at his friend's house, so they worked that out, and he's where he's now. So I'm home alone here again, so that's really cool. I don't mind doing that at all. All of them will be going camping again at the end of October, so I'll be alone again then. So it should be interesting to see where we're going here. So what do we got? We got a lot of Bear stuff today. We got cowboy boot Crocs. We've got update on the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelcie stuff. We've got some deaths. We've got a lot of trailers. We got a lot of January stuff coming up. We got some Thanksgiving stuff. We've got some Christmas stuff, a little bit of Halloween stuff, not much. Fortnitemares, trailers, as I said. Amish people, conspiracy theories. The Speaker of the House is no more. Wes Anderson. A lot of anniversaries this week. My 20th wedding anniversary was on Wednesday. We went out to dinner, and we'll talk about it in a few minutes. Barbie gets a Blu-ray date. Johnny Depp is coming back to theaters. One Piece, WNBA, Burger King, Furiosa. Coffee Mate has a new coffee creamer coming. My eyes, what is? Oh, Starbucks. Only Murders in the Building, UFOs, Phil Collins. We get our first look at Kevin Costner's Horizon with some interesting news about that. And a discussion about the Toy Story Sunday Fun Day football extravaganza, Butterbeer Blizzards, 4K, Batgirl extras, Muzzle. So we got all kinds of neat stuff going on. Chris Rock, Steven Spielberg teaming up. So we got all kinds of crazy stuff here. Christoph Waltz got something going on too. So teased enough. Let's get going. Orange October, blood orange iced tea. See a pattern. All right. My 20th anniversary wedding anniversary was also this week. We had a nice dinner at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, entertaining, and I got some new Halloween decor. That's really about it. I took off the 3rd of October to finish some last minute stuff for the anniversary, get last minute presents, stuff like that. But I didn't get as much as I wanted to. But then I woke up on my anniversary and I had the worst sinus headache ever. But I said I'd rough it out. But I was driving to work. I just couldn't take it anymore. So I called out of work on the 4th also. So I had 2 days off this week. Not great, not outstanding, but that's what was going on about that. So that's going on. That Fat Bear Week has officially went underway this week. I've seen some pictures of some of the chonkers there. You can vote. Just type in Fat Bear Week, and they'll give you the links of where you need to vote and the pictures and stuff like that. So we should be getting a Fat Bear champion by the end of this week, maybe. Speaking of bears, a bear brings down a deer lawn ornament in a Massachusetts backyard. He basically thought it was a real deer, attacked it, and drug it out of the backyard thinking it was a real deer. So bears aren't entirely the smartest people in the world, but that's okay. Case in point, a black bear was spotted on a boat in Naples Bay. So bears are getting all kinds of reckless. There's a few other bear stories coming up later in the show. This isn't quite the same thing, but Build-A-Bear has a Big Hug Bigfoot action stuffed animal now, and a new style of my favorite Halloween ghost Pokemon, Mimikyu. He's also Ghost Fairy, so that's kind of an interesting little twist there. Still no Mimikyu in Pokemon Go, and doesn't look like it's going to be appearing for the Halloween event unless they're going to surprise us. Don't see that happening, though. Nightmare Before Christmas Squashmallows are now available on Amazon. You can also get your Nightmare Before Christmas coffee tumblers at Starbucks now. They're back in stock as well. Night Swim is James Wan and Blumhouse's new Killer Pool movie, which is debuting January 5th, 2024. Starring Wyatt Russell and Kerry Corden. And the first trailer for it popped out this week. It's kind of a creepy sort of trailer, what you expect from a movie called Night Swim. So you gotta like that as well. Occupied, the haunted house movie produced by Barbarian director finds a writer. So we're getting all kinds of scary stuff coming up here as well. Fast Charlie is James Caan's last film with Pierce Brosnan and Morena Baccarin. Gets a U.S. release date. The direwolf Andrzej Bartowski, who directed the Doom movie, will be directing a new horror film called The Dire Wolf. Not much known about that. Christoph Waltz has joined the cast of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein movie. Fortnite has their annual Halloween event, and it's starting earlier than usual this year due to the theme going on is the main big bad in this season of Fortnite is a vampire, so they figured why not take advantage of it. So for 3 weeks, we will have a Fortnitemares Halloween event. Starts October 10th, which is on Tuesday. Pokemon Go's Halloween event is going to go 2 weeks later on this week. The Harvest event with some ghost type stuff will be popping up later this week as well. So that's good. We're going to get some of that as well. I talked about It's a Wonderful Knife, the horror film that has such a great title. Well, the first trailer for it was released, and it's exactly what you expected. A last girl kills one of these serial killer slashers, but only after the slasher kills her best friend. So a year later, she's still haunted by it, and the fact that it was the mayor of the town. She's still haunted by it, so she makes a wish that she never existed. And just like in It's a Wonderful Life, she never existed, and the serial killer has now taken over the city, and she's got to fight it to stop it. So kind of an interesting sort of twist on things. It's actually not as bad as some of the other goofy movies that are going to be coming out here soon. It's a Wonderful Knife. Great title, and the movie looks entertaining in a horror aspect toward a way if you like the horror stuff like that. Chris Rock is going to direct, and Steven Spielberg is going to produce a Martin Luther King biopic. So that should be interesting, based on a Martin Luther King book. So we'll see how that rolls out here. Hot Diggity Dog Pringles are a thing. They just came out or are coming out soon. NASA gets a surprise when it opened its sample of the asteroid dust. More dust around the container, so they've got more dust that they can deal with that. Take a look at that as well. First century AD Roman citizens and soldiers would drink 100 gallons of wine per year. That's a lot of wine per year. That's a lot. November 2nd, 2024. We'll see the debut of the Spider-Man freshman year cartoon on Disney Plus. So a full year and month away, but full 13 months away. But they just wanted to get it out there as well. Swag garlic pepper Japanese Doritos are now available as a boxer brief. Scientists confirm that fossilized human footprints found in New Mexico recently are dated between the 21,000 and 23,000 years old. Many meaning that humans existed in North America earlier than first thought. So that's pretty good. Crocs have created cowboy boots, and they are exactly what you kind of expect them to be. They are Croc shoes with the cowboy boot sort of up the ankle sort of thing. So yes, they are a thing. Amish man was shunned after the National Emergency Alert test revealed secret phones. We're going to be talking about the National Alert secret alert test later in the show, but that's just funny that in Amish people who shun electrical devices, some of them got busted for having secret cell phones that they're not supposed to have. So that's interesting. So last week I was ecstatic about the Taylor Swift Travis Kelcie relationship starting. It's an adorable story, still is an adorable story, that has taken over America last week. So the second part of the story came up on Sunday, this past Sunday, when the Chiefs went to New York to face the New York Jets, and Taylor was in the box again with Travis Kelce's mom, but this time she brought along her entourage of Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Blake Lively, and Sean Levy, which is showing up, which is making more rumors abound that she will be appearing as Dazzler in the Deadpool 3 movie, because all those people, except for Blake, were involved with it, and Blake is just there because she's friends with Taylor, and also Ryan Reynolds is her husband. Pat Mahomes' wife was also in the box as well. And the Sunday Night Football, I think it was Sunday night or Monday night, whatever night it was. I think it was Sunday night. Just made a big deal about it because that was the big story that week before was the relationship. So they were thinking that more and more people were going to want to know about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. So they kept shooting back to Taylor and talking about her, stuff like that. And all of a sudden, the next day, there's a backlash saying that, okay, enough's enough. We get it. You're happy. Quit fucking around and quit screwing up our stuff. And I just like, what the hell are you? What? You literally were just all you were talking about the week before. And then you get what you want. And all of a sudden you're like, oh no, it's too much now. Oh, Jesus Christ. Travis Kelce himself has said it's the coverage is a little much, but it's what people want. The ratings were still astronomical for the NFL. So if Taylor shows up in the game for the game tomorrow, I think, or tomorrow's or it's Sunday night or Monday night, or whatever, it's going to be a story again because it's big ratings. But what happened? You were all cheerful and happy saying, I wish Travis Kelce and Taylor would get married and everything's great. And then the next week you're like, get him off my TV show. Hey, Melanie. I have no idea who the hell you are. Melanie. I don't know Melanie. So I don't get it. I don't understand why all of a sudden you're turning on this cute story. It's wonderful. In fact, there was a new bit about it where there was you could do some lip reading with Taylor's discussion with Blake Lively, pointing out Travis, and she's talking about how hot he is, and just look at him, stuff like that, which means that she's sort of fallen for him as well. So I'm still in awe about why, after only 1 week, it all of a sudden has turned into a hate fest after it being a love fest. So it doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe they went a little too far in the NFL, but that's just the way it is, you know? So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Big death this week was Dick Butkus, legendary Bears lineman, who also made appearances on Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. He passed away this week. He was the big super sports person who passed away this week. Last week it was Brooks Robinson. Shauna Tripkick, a award-winning costume designer for Toys, Cabin in the Woods, the Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau Star Wars stuff. She passed away this week as well. Terrence Davies, British filmmaker, Deep Blue Sea Benediction, died this week as well at the age of 77. Anniversaries this week include Blade Runner 2049 came out 6 years ago this week. REM's national TV debut on the David Letterman Show was 40 years ago this week. Speaking of REM, my favorite REM album of all time, and probably their best album of all time, Automatic for the People, was released 31 years ago this week. Charm, the TV show, with Shannon Doherty, Alyssa Milano, and I forget the last ones. I got to find out because I got to give her credit too, because in my Buffy storyline, she is my twin sister. My character's twin sister. So let's see. Holly Marie Combs. There she is. Yep. So that debuted in 1998. So let's see, 98, 2008, 2018, 25 years ago. So 25 years ago. Okay, that's a big deal. 25 years ago, Charm debuted. Wow, it seems old. And Assassins, the Sylvester Stallone, Antonio Banderas action film debut 28 years ago this week. Page 1's done. Page 2, Werewolf by Night in color debuts October 20th on Disney Plus. I'm not sure I like the idea of colorizing Werewolf by Night. The short was perfect the way it is in the old school black and white. I thought it was fantastic, and I really don't intend to watch the colorized version of it. I would have wished instead that they would have released the Mephisto short, which they were discussing that they were making, but apparently that's not going to happen, so they had to do this instead. Cynar is a boozy artichoke juice I've never heard of before, but I saw an ad for it and I was like, I had to mention it. That's such a weird artichoke juice. That's just such a weird little thing. Phil Collins has retired from touring, citing health problems. He just did his last concert where he reteamed with his band Genesis. He will and announced that he will no longer be touring or doing concerts of any kind because of ill health. Jessica Null's Bright Young Woman novel is being turned into a TV show. It's about the ladies who survived the Ted Bundy attacks and how their lives were changed by it. Lego is getting into the Animal Crossing game with a Lego Animal Crossing coming soon. Animal Crossing was that game that hit huge popularity during COVID in 2020, but everybody was stuck at home, and that's what they were playing was that and Fortnite becoming the big deal. So that was all you saw, 3-4 years ago. But now it's still around, and it is getting a Lego edition of it. So pretty cool, I guess. Burger King to release a half fry, half onion ring side. So if you like both, you don't have to get one or the other. You can now get both. Excuse me. Oh, this is right here. In 1987, there was a urine in Corona hoax, which almost destroyed Corona's business. I don't really remember that storyline, but I think I can see where that comes from, because if you ever looked at Corona, it's got sort of that really urine-looking color to it. And I know Robert Rodriguez sort of made a joke about it in Desperado, but that just popped up on my feed. So I was like, okay, I don't remember that much, but there we are. October 4th, 2023, not only was my 20th anniversary, but it also is the start of the events of Avengers Endgame, if you want to get into the fictional film world. So we are in the end game right now, right now. So the MCU has now caught up with itself finally. So here we are. So we're all back. Everything's great. And thank you, Avengers. Here's a bunch of animal stories for you. A monkey named Momo is on the loose in Indianapolis, Indiana, after escaping his home. Apparently it was a pet. It escaped the house and was terrorizing people in Indianapolis town. A 13-foot-long python survived 5 months eating cats in Oklahoma trailer park, which I feel bad for the kitties, poor kitties. But another animal that probably escaped its confines and went out there. And finally, a raccoon steals a bag of Cheetos from an outdoor box of goodies that I guess people were putting out for anybody to take. And he took. I talked about Hugh Jackman earlier. He is writing a memoir right now. He just got divorced from his wife, so now he's sort of writing this memoir as a way to heal and talk about stuff like that. The WNBA is getting an expansion team to the San Francisco Bay Area, not necessarily maybe San Francisco, but in the general area. So they'll be getting expanded there. Plus, there's also talk that it'll be expanding into Portland, Oregon. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition again. Burger King makes a second appearance on the show today. It is introducing a Halloween bucket and is also bringing back the Ghost Pepper Whopper for Halloween. SNL Saturday Night Live is to return for its 49th season. Now the WGA strike is done. They can get back underway. It is due next week. The first episode, the new season is due on the 14th of October. Speaking of the 14th of October, a Saturday, which reminds me that this week we get a Friday the 13th on Halloween. And on the 14th, we get a annular solar eclipse, which is the Ring of Fire solar eclipse where the moon is farther away than it usually is. So it's not blocking out the sun entirely. So you get that little corona effect around the blackness of the sun. So you get this black hole and then just this sort of ring of fire surrounding it. That will be available to be seen in North America. But wait, there's more. On October 28th, there's going to be a partial lunar eclipse, which will not be visible from our area. It's going to be visible more further south, meaning Asia, Africa. Well, not Asia, that's east, but Europe, Asia, parts of Africa will be available to see it as well. So 2 eclipses going on this month. Heinz Black Garlic Mayo is now available at Aldi. I guess for Halloween, I can't even imagine what that was going to taste like. Furiosa, the prequel to Fury Road, is set to debut in 2024 at Cannes. Fury Road debuted at Cannes when it came out as well, so they're hoping for lightning in a bottle again. Wonder Woman's Daughter is going to be getting her own one-shot in 2024, written by Tom King, who is the person who created her. Masters of the Air. First look is Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg's new World War II limited series. They've done Band of Brothers and the one about the war in the Pacific, and they've done a whole bunch of other ones as well. But this is their newest one. Masters of the Air will be on Apple TV Plus with Austin Butler and Barry Cohegan. Is due out January 26th, 2024. Starbucks holiday menu with their Christmas drinks and stuff like that is set to debut November 2nd. And they've got a picture of what it is. Only Murders in the Building, the Steve Martin Short, Selena Gomez TV show just finished its 3rd season, and it's got renewed for a 4th season. So we're getting another season of that. Coffee Mate is releasing a new coffee creamer. This one is the Mean Girls Pink Frosting coffee creamer. I don't know if that is going to taste any good, but it is not out yet, but it will be coming soon. UFOs crashing into the ocean spurs a load of 911 calls in Hawaii. So basically, a number of people spotted what they believe is a UFO crashing into the ocean. So they called 911, and there's multiple phone calls about this alien UFO, or not alien. Let's not say alien. Let's say UFO crash into the ocean. So that's kind of an interesting sort of story coming out here now. It is horror season. It is October. It is October 7th still, since it's only 11:36. Oh, excuse me. But according to 63% of single people, they're saying a perfect date would be watching a horror film, which is not that hard to believe. Horror films are expected to make you feel a certain way, jump scares, make you scream and jump. And if you're with on a date, first, second, third date, whatever, and you're watching it, you're gonna dive onto your partner and hug them and hide your face in the scary parts or see how they react to that sort of thing. So, not too unbelievable. Anniversaries this week. Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix movie, came out in 2019. I remember that because it was on our wedding anniversary, and I actually took the day off of work to go see it. And then after I went to see it, I went to visit my wife at work and took her out to dinner, took her out to lunch for anniversary. So that was fun. The Senator Theater, the theater right down the street from my house, that's been a mainstay here in Baltimore City, is celebrating its 84th year of operation. So that's pretty cool. So Tonight That I Might See, Mazzy Star's debut album, debuted 30 years ago this week. Fade Into You is the biggest song from that album. The Departed, the Martin Scorsese film, debuted 17 years ago this week. Other deaths this week, we have Django Unchained actor Keith Jefferson died at the age of 53 this week. And football player Ove Johansson, he's a place kicker, died this week as well. Page 2 is done. Working about 20 minutes a page, so that'll be good. So let's see, 20, 40, 60, 80, and that's about half, 80, 90 minutes. It should be done about an hour and a half. So we'll see if that's actually the case. Because, yes, we have a lot more to go. Barbie has finally announced a Blu-ray date, and it's not that far away. Today is October 7th. Barbie will be out in 10 days, October 17th. So it's out on it's out on Amazon now, or rather on Prime. If you want to watch it on Prime, you can now. But if you want to wait to get it on Blu-ray, so you can have a physical copy of it, 10 days from today, 17th of October. Britney Spears is also releasing a memoir of her life up to this point at the end of October. Did not know about this until a friend of mine from work mentioned it. That's kind of an intriguing idea. Patrick Stewart just released his memoir this week, so I haven't picked that up yet. I probably won't get that probably till Christmas. Will be on my list. Will be on my list though. On the flip side, Paris Hilton, who also wrote a memoir, her memoir got picked up to be a TV series by A24, which is shocking me because A24 is, to me, one of the great indie production companies, and they picked up a Paris Hilton memoir to make into a TV series. Okay. Bob Dylan, my namesake. Well, not my namesake, but my parents named me Dylan after Bob Dylan. He's still alive and kicking, and he will be in Baltimore on Thanksgiving weekend doing 2 shows at the Meyerhoff Symphony Orchestra Hall. So that's pretty cool. For fans of Bob Dylan, you get that. Now, I've been talking about this movie for a while, and we're finally starting to see some stuff about it. Kevin Costner is a pretty damn good director. The Postman aside, Dances with Wolves is one of the best movies I've ever seen, and Open Range is outstanding as well. He's returning to the world of Westerns as a director and a star, and he's got a huge cast, which I saw the cast list, but I can't remember who really much people on it, but it is a huge cast. And he created the American epic Horizon, an American Saga, which is the name of this new movie that he has been saying is going to be 4 to 6 plus hours long. And we get our first teaser trailer for it, and it is discovered that as kind of a first, he will be releasing both parts of Horizon within about 2 months of each other. So Horizon Part 1, Chapter 1, will release on June 28th, 2024. And Horizon and American Saga Chapter 2 will be debuting on August 16th, 2024. So I think that's outstanding. I probably will be taking off June 28th anyway, because that's around the time I think my kids and wife go to camp. So I can take off and go see the first part of that saga because I'm intrigued by it. As I said, Costner is excellent when it comes to Westerns. And this movie so far, you don't get to see much. You see Costner, you hear him tromping away on a horse, and then you get a vista of the Old West, and he stops and turns the horse around and is shooting a rifle at someone or something. So we'll see how that goes. But, yep, that is coming out here soon. Halloween Chex Mix. If you like to have a little Chex Mix, snack around the house, you use your Chex Mix stuff, but instead of pretzels and other stuff like that, you throw in candy corn and other sort of Halloween accoutrements to make Halloween Chex Mix. Kit Kat Banana Caramel flavor is the newest flavor of Kit Kat. Only available in Japan. Sorry, y'all, but banana caramel sounds really, really kind of weird. The Soundgarden, a local record shop, music shop, almost lost their property over an unpaid bill that the owner said he never got. And since he never got the bill, he never paid it. And since he never paid it, the company that owns land or whatever sold it in a tax thing and told him they're going to have to leave the property. But he worked it out, and it's not going anywhere. But still, for a while there, that was kind of crazy. Sharon Osbourne will be opening an Ozzy Osbourne museum here soon. The Hunting Wives, another novel, is getting another TV series for Stars. Boardwalk Empire creator Terrence Winter is developing a Murder in Hollywood adaptation as a movie, not a TV show this time, about actress Lana Turner's deadly love affair with the mafia. So we got that going on. SAG-AFTRA is still in negotiations. They start negotiations on Monday. They're still in negotiations now. They're going through the weekend, so that's a pretty good sign that things are moving along a little bit. The 2030 World Cup is going to have a first. It is going to be spanning 6 countries and 3 continents. There is not one country that will be hosting all of the World Cup. The World Cup will literally be a World Cup spanning 6 countries and 3 continents. Jean Dujardin, who had a quick in and out here in the early 2010s with his silent film that won some Oscars, stuff like that, is set to star in a French remake of The Incredible Shrinking Man, which is intriguing idea. The Beekeeper, David Ayer's new film with Jason Statham coming back to his action roots. New trailer came out this week. It's due out January 12th. It looks like your typical Jason Statham action film. This one's about an actual beekeeper who takes care of the bees, stuff like that. And when the person who employs him as a beekeeper gets all of her money stolen from her by a phishing scam, and then she ends up committing suicide, he wants to get revenge, but apparently he's a special ops guy who is also a member of a group called the Beekeepers, which are people that help fight these sort of phishing schemes anyway. So it's your typical Jason Statham action film. Looks like a brainless, fun movie to watch in early January, which is probably, to me, honestly, probably the worst month of the year. Sorry, January. It just is. You're right after all the big holidays, after Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Halloween. It's cold. There's nothing exciting going on. Martin Luther King Day and New Year's Day, and that's really about it. There's some birthdays in my family that are in January, and you got the playoffs for the NFL. But there's really not a lot going on. It's mostly due to the fact that you just had the holidays, the Christmas and New Year's and Easter and Christmas, Thanksgiving and Halloween and New Year's all together. And now you're starting the long, cold winter again with nothing exciting going on for a while. But yeah, so there's that. A man officiating at a wedding in Nebraska accidentally shoots his 12-year-old grandson during the ceremony. Fucking gun people. Eddie Izzard portrays a cross-dressing or transgender. No, they didn't really go into much detail, but it's one of the other in Dr. Jekyll trailer, which is from the Hammer Films, which I talked about a couple weeks ago. Hammer Films was just recently bought by a new businessman, and his job is to try to bring it back into prominence. And this film is the first on its way to do it. It seems like a crazy sort of horror action sort of film thing going on, so who knows. But before then, let's talk a little Thanksgiving. The Eli Roth full-length Thanksgiving trailer debuted this week as well, November 17th. It looks like your typical Eli Roth, vicious, horror, disgusting sort of Saw Thanksgiving sort of film thing. So I'm not going to see it because it's going to be more of a gruesome horror film. But for you horror fans out there, hey, go for it, man. Luffy from One Piece will be getting his own Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade balloon, I believe. So we'll get that coming up this upcoming Macy's Day Parade on Thanksgiving. Johnny Puff which is a secret mission. I'm sorry, Johnny Puff's Secret Mission is a animated film where Johnny Depp will be voicing a puffin, is getting a distribution. Tennis player on the brink of winning is disqualified after slamming ball into the chair umpire's face. Don't know if it was accidental or on purpose, but he was disqualified for that. Lego Jurassic Park is due out also October 10th on Peacock. The full-length adaptation of Jurassic Park, but done in Lego, will be coming up here soon too. Loki Charm serial has debuted thanks to the Loki season 2 premiere, which I have not watched yet. I hope to watch it sooner than later. Spirit Halloween is starting a quest to find the spookiest family. Some local news: Harbor Place pavilions, the iconic pavilions, will be torn down and replaced with something other in the refurbishing of Harbor Place area. Anniversary this week: School of Rock, 20 years this week. Lost in Translation was also 20 years this week. Gone Girl is 9 years this week. Gravity is 10 years old this week. And Training Day is 22 years ago this week. Other deaths this week: we have Johnny Mathis, not the singer, but the NBA player. He passed away this week. And Jim Capel, ESPN baseball Olympics writer, died at the age of 61. So I want to talk about this real quick because conspiracy theorists can be stupid. So the newest conspiracy theory was set around October 4th, which was my anniversary, 20th anniversary. On that day, there was going to be an Amish story I talked about. National emergency alert that was going to go through every phone in existence to test the national emergency alert in case a major national emergency, be it nuclear bomb coming or earthquake, tsunami, something awful was going to happen that's going to affect not just a group of people, but everybody. This was an alert that was done back in 2020, 2021. I think it was 2020 because I kept up with the whole craziness. They want to test in case there was a worse sort of virus coming after COVID. And basically at one time, it was going to be, 222 or 220, something like that. 220, it was like 220, I think. 2:20 p.m. on October 4th, they were going to do this telephone alarm. Something that already happened before. However, the conspiracy theorists decided to take a page from Stephen King. Stephen King wrote a book called Cell, which at a certain time, people were anyone who was on a cell phone had a weird noise that turned them into like mindless, violent zombie type people. It's a fictional story that Stephen King came up with, has no basis in truth or whatever. And this came out years ago. I remember I read it when it came out because it sounded like a really interesting idea. So actually it was one of the ones where I actually bought it and read it. And they made a movie with it with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson that didn't get any theatrical debut because it wasn't that great. Anyway, the story itself is, a tone by people who are on their cell phones, turn them into vicious zombies, and that's what happens. And we find out that there's a demon behind it, blah, blah, blah. It's Stephen King for you. However, the conspiracy theorists who are anti-vaxxers at the same time and who've been complaining that getting the vaccine is injecting a microchip of some kind that's supposed to control you or whatever. Anyway, their new conspiracy theory set around this national emergency alert was that at this time, anyone who was vaxxed, the tone was supposed to set off the 5G activation of the Marburg virus, which was a virus that was injected into those of us who got vaccines, and it would turn us into mindless zombies, as in the movie, as in the book by Stephen King, Cell. The emergency broadcast system actually, when it happened to me, happened 2 minutes earlier than it was supposed to. And I was driving at the time. I'm not a zombie. I was going to Target. I pulled into Target because that was the day I had off. When I was sick, I was feeling better, and I had some errands I had to run. I pulled into Target after the signal went off. Got out of my car. People were just walking around like normal, chit-chatting, talking, like nothing had happened, carrying bags, watching their kids. And I went to Target. People looking at clothes, buying Halloween candy, buying makeup, buying cards, buying groceries. No mindless zombie attacks, or not mindless, because what we were doing was kind of mindless, just doing our own thing, but no vicious, angry zombie attacks by anybody. Now you're saying maybe not, maybe every person that you saw in that Target was not vaccinated. There are people with masks, which means they were fucking vaccinated because they're really worried about COVID. But it doesn't matter. I was vaxxed. There were hundreds of people around me. There were no vicious, angry, horrible, blah, blah attacks of people. Everyone at my son's school, most of those kids probably didn't get vaxxed, or if they did, they didn't do anything either. There was nothing. My son's like, just a normal day. Page and a half left. Kevin McCarthy became the first person who was Speaker of the House to be removed after he sided with the Democrats to keep the government from being shut down. Matt Gaetz, the pedophile, sex trafficker also, decided he didn't like that and opted for him to get removed as Speaker of the House. Now they are looking for another Speaker of the House, and it's a whole nother shit show going on. But the Democrats, who weren't going to vote for him anyway, didn't vote for him. They voted to oust him as Speaker of the House, and they're all like, why didn't you help keep him in power? Well, basically he said after the Democrats were the ones that basically kept the government running, he went on and said that the Democrats were the ones that wanted to shut down the government. Plus, he has been unwilling to cross the aisle to work with Democrats to pass legislation. It's all been about the Trumpian maggot, dumbass shithead stuff that they don't know how to govern. They're just going after people and stoking fear in people to keep them voting for them, because only us can stop the horrible, horrible things that are going on, while these people who are voting for them are losing their money in their houses and stuff like that because they are so stupid. They don't know that the Republicans are actually fucking them in the ass and the Democrats are trying to help them. So that was great. That was the big story this week, kind of. I also tried the Gatorade mystery flavor this week. I talked about that last week. As I said, I tried the Mountain Dew one on the show last week, and it was fabulous. I've on my second 12-pack on it. My son absolutely adores it also. So I tried the Gatorade mystery flavor, and it's actually pretty good. It's a strawberry sort of flavor to it. I didn't tell if it was mixed with anything else, but it was a nice strawberry flavor, and I enjoyed it immensely. So if you like strawberry, I think the new Gatorade mystery flavor is a strawberry sort of flavor. Maybe it's trying like a strawberry starburst flavor, but it just tasted like strawberry Gatorade to me. A new picture of Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker for Les Adieux, the sequel to Joker, which I just talked about a few minutes ago, made its way onto the set, and he's not wearing his makeup. So we're going to be focusing more on the guy behind the stuff, probably. The Silent Night trailer, I talked about this a little while back. This is John Woo, action director extraordinaire. It's his Christmas action film that has no dialogue in it, and we get the first trailer for it with Joel Kinnaman as the lead. And basically his son gets killed in some sort of gang crossfire or whatever. So he goes on a rampage to kill them all, and he can't speak, I think. In this attack, he lost the ability to speak, so he's going after them. So the new trailer for that came out. Also, a new trailer for There's Something in the Barn, which I also talked about. Also, we didn't know much about it, but we got the first teaser trailer for it. It's about killer elves in a barn. It's a Norwegian film set around Christmas time with killer elves. So that's pretty cool. Angelina Jolie will be portraying singer Maria Callas in a biopic coming up here. She's just starting to work on it right now. Powerball has hit over $1 billion again. Let me see if they have a Powerball winner yet. Powerball, I think because the drawing was tonight, I think. Yep, results are pending. Don't know if anyone's won right now. It's $1.4 billion. A cash value would be $614 million. So they just drew it. So we'll get our winners, probably find out tomorrow. If there are any winners, they're probably from Florida or California, which is usually the case. So we'll find that out. But yes, Powerball is up to $1.4 billion again. The Priscilla trailer, full-length trailer, Sofia Coppola's Elvis and Priscilla biopic from A24 made its debut, and Elvis's family does not like it. It's based on Priscilla's biography or memoir, and it puts Elvis in a really bad light, and that's why they did not allow her to use any Elvis music, and the trailer is very Sofia Coppola-esque, so should be pretty good. It should be up there for Oscars and stuff like that. Excuse me. Getting hit around midnight here. Now, I love different types of coffee. I've never seen this one before. It's intriguing me. Folgers has a Mardi Gras blend coffee, which might be really interesting to try once I figure out what it is. Sophie Turner and her kids are staying in Taylor Swift's apartment while she's fighting Joe Jonas on his custody battle. Selena Gomez has a holiday cooking show, and a new special will be debuting on Food Network later this year, just in time for the holidays. And it is officially Sunday, October 8th, 12 noon. And let's see what time, let's see what temperature is here. 12 noon, not 12 noon, 12 a.m. on October 8th. The temperature is still 50 degrees. So still balmy 50 degrees right now out there. So it should be wonderful sleeping weather. Wes Anderson debuted a Roald Dahl short, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. And I thought that was it. Ray Fiennes, Benedict Cumberbatch, a few other famous people in there as well. I thought that was it. But apparently, Wes Anderson kept this crew together, and they made not one, not two, but 4 Roald Dahl shorts, which are all now available on Netflix. Those shorts include The Rat Catcher, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, Poison, and The Swan, which is an animated one, but all the actors from these previous Roald Dahl shorts by Wes Anderson are in these ones as well, and they're also directed by Wes Anderson, so go crazy. I talked about One Piece for getting a Thanksgiving float. That's the anime. The live action series, we've got 2 episodes left in that. It's a great series so far. The showrunner for the One Piece live action series says there's one other anime they would love to turn into a live action and that they would love to showrun, and that is Spy X Family. Their newest episode on Crunchyroll came out yesterday, Saturday, and so maybe after a while, we might get a Spy X Family live action thing. Baseball season, I said, ended on Sunday. And Miguel Cabrera retired. He was the last active Major League Baseball hitter who faced the Montreal Expos. Montreal Expos moved to Washington, became the Washington Nationals. God, Cabrera's been in there for like probably 20 plus years, so it's got to be sometime in the 90s then. So that's kind of interesting. Astronomers discover strange blue pyramidal structures and craters on Mercury. I'm not so sure how true that is. That's from one of my supernatural sites, but they had some pictures and astronomers, and they did mention astronomers. So I think to make Mercury more interesting than it actually is. Stevie Nicks, who just had a concert down at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, has her own Barbie doll now, and she showed it off at one of her other concerts. Strange Way of Life, Pedro Almodovar's short film with Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal, gets a new teaser trailer, and it's going to make you wish that there would be a full-length movie of it, because Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal, I believe, are playing gay cowboys, and it looks really, really good. Now, the Writers Guild finished their strike last week, and they're back at work. SAG-AFTRA has been in negotiations for a full week now, which is a good sign also. They're still on strike, though, but they are negotiating. However, we may be on the verge of another strike where actors an Actors Guild that works with video games did not come to a deal, and they will be probably going to a strike coming for video game actors. So we're going to get that coming up here soon. Speaking of Ethan Hawke, we get the first trailer for the Netflix movie apocalyptic film Leave the World Behind, due out on December 8th on Netflix. Stars Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, Kevin Bacon, Marshala Ali, and Mahala. And we saw the first trailer. It is a very apocalyptic sort of story. Definitely something different that Julia Roberts, I haven't seen her in before. It is absolutely a killer cast, and I hope to check it out. So check out the trailer for that on your own. Disney was sued over severe injuries allegedly caused by a wedgie from their water slide. So apparently a woman going down the water slide at one of Disney's parks or whatever got an extremely painful wedgie, which is when the fabric of your swimsuit or your underwear or whatever gets smashed all the way up into your ass crack. And I guess in maybe the woman's case, up in the vaginal pussy area as well. And I guess if it was done hard enough and whatever like that, it probably could have caused some pain and damage, but I don't know. It still seems to me like a stupid lawsuit. So we'll see what happens. I have recently sort of become obsessed with 4K. I sort of dropped this hint to my wife this week, and so I think I might be getting a 4K Blu-ray player. The reason I brought it up is because 4K is releasing all kinds of new Blu-rays in the last half of this year and into early next year. The biggest of them all is James Cameron's The Abyss, which is one of my favorite James Cameron movies. And it is finally getting the 4K treatment, which makes things look absolutely more sharp and stunning and gorgeous. And from what I've seen in some of the pictures, it looks outstanding. And that's the type of movie that we kind of need a 4K sort of thing for. So that's really kind of cool. We're also getting JFK in 4K just in time for the 60th anniversary of his assassination. That's another film that would be really good. And Clue, the wonderful, wonderful comedy, is getting its own 4K. Batman Mask of the Phantasm is getting a 4K drop later this year. Monster Squad is getting a 4K drop later this year. The Universal Monsters were supposed to get one this year, but it's been pushed back to next year. So it just would make things look clearer and sharper, and maybe need a better TV also. Maybe we need that as well. But I'm really excited for some of these 4K videos coming up here soon. I don't know if people have been noticing. If you're on Instagram, a while back, I discovered that you could put music on your still pictures. Now, you can put it on your reels and stuff like that. Everybody knows that. But they had a huge catalog of great music that would just take a segment of about 30 seconds of music and place it on your picture. So you would get your picture. Let me see if I can find one of those on my Instagram to show you what I'm talking about. I'll show you not the first one, the second one I ever did, which is my favorite. This is a still picture of my neighborhood, and I've got Hans Zimmer's Cornfield Chase playing in the background of it. And it's just a 30-second beat to it. One of my other favorites is we went to the zoo, Macho Fern and Macho Man. So that was kind of funny. So I thought that was awesome. So I would try to find the best song for each picture I have. And I found some really good ones. I was really excited about it. And then all of a sudden, when I wanted to hear them about a week or so later, it said video or audio unavailable. I was like, oh, son of a bitch. And then I kept checking it week after week after week, audio unavailable. And then all of a sudden, the audio is back. So I've added a bunch of new audio clips to your picture. So thank you, Instagram, for bringing back the audio on pictures. I'm very happy for that. Deaths this week, Tim Wakefield, pitcher for the Red Sox. I remember him. Died at the age of 57. He had brain cancer. There was a story that broke last week, which I didn't talk about him before he passed away. But it was just about how someone announced his brain cancer on air on a television show, and it was supposed to be a secret. He didn't want anybody to know about it, and this person revealed it. And so it doesn't matter because Tim Wakefield unfortunately passed away from his brain disease. And Russ Francis, Pro Bowler, died in a plane crash near Lake Placid, New York this week as well. So to die in a plane crash like that is absolutely awful. A lot of anniversaries this week. What the hell? 73 years old. No idea. Don't know what that one is. NASA is 65 years old this week. The Princess Bride came out in 1987, so that was around the time of the urine beer story I just talked about. 87, 97, 2007, 2017. 36 years ago, The Princess Bride debuted. Zombieland debuted 14 years ago this week. The Martian, one of my favorite movies of all time, and my number one on my 500 list, debuted 8 years ago this week. I saw that in the movie theater. I remember that. Night of the Living Dead debuted in 1968. So let's see, 68, 78, 88, 98, 2008, 2018. We're looking at 55 years ago. So, is that right? Hold on. Yeah, 55 years ago. Near Dark debuted in 1987 also, which is a great vampire film with Lance Henriksen and I just lost his name. Bill Paxton. Thank you. Pierce, 73 years old. I have no idea what that is, so I'm not going to worry about that. 73 years ago. Psycho? No. 73 years ago. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. My last half here of my show, so not much longer left to go. Batgirl movie extra is suing Warner Brothers, which I think is great. Because I think after that shit that was that god-awful Flash movie, and the Shazam movie didn't do that well, and Blue Beetle did okay, but it didn't do great, and Aquaman is probably not going to do that well either. DC movies are just horrible, and they decided that this film would be one that they're just not going to debut, but it had Brendan Fraser in it, it had Michael Keaton's Batman in it, and J.K. Simmons's Commissioner Gordon. It seemed like it was going to be a great idea. It would have been a great movie to see, but nope, they had to. It was almost done filming also, and they just trashed the whole thing. It's a tax write-off. Anyway, an extra in it is suing the Warner Brothers over it, so hopefully they'll do something about it. McDonald's apparently has a McBrunch burger. Don't know anything about that, but here we are. A family of bears, here's the bears again, a family of bears broke into a Krispy Kreme truck in Alaska and ate 20 packages of donut holes. Well, Bears they got to compete in that now. Fat Bear Week. They need to get chunked up really quickly. I talked about the Monster Squad 4K. Did that already. Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, is due to be released on December 1st. The trailer was released for that. It's a concert movie in a similar vein to Taylor Swift's Eras one, but you look like you're going to see more behind-the-scenes stuff with Beyonce's tour. So it's going to be more like maybe the Madonna Truth or Dare sort of movie as well. So we got that coming out as well. Butterbeer Blizzard is on the DQ secret menu. So if you go up and say, hey, you got that Butterbeer Blizzard, I heard it's on your DQ secret menu, they may or may not know what you're talking about. But apparently it is a thing here. 2 Vietnam vets were reunited after 50 years from Make-A-Wish Foundation, I think, reunited them. Dublin is ranked the second most coffee-obsessed capital in the world. Way to go, Dublin. The Muzzle trailer, Aaron Eckhart stars opposite a police dog that has metal teeth. Yeah, it's called Muzzle. Toys R Us to return again. This time in airports, be it due out in November, there will be some shops opening in airports, small ones. On cruise ships, don't know when that's going to be debuting. And supposedly some brick and mortar shops near Macy's, which is the one place that has been bringing them out about, is set to open next holiday season. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition, and we'll approach this at another date. Mexico police arrest Chucky doll and the owner of the Chucky doll for terrifying the public. That is a true story. Some anniversaries before we get to the last story of the week. Anniversaries of Social Network, 13 years ago this week. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 49 years ago this week. And Cool Runnings, 30 years ago this week. Now, the final story for this episode of Dylan Knows, it should have been the Mexico Chucky doll thing, but I won't talk about this anyway. Last Sunday, we had the first England football game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and Atlanta Falcons. But what made that unique was Disney Plus was doing a simulcast set in the Toy Story universe by Pixar, doing the game, but in Pixar style. So basically, it was simulcasting the game. So the game was playing at 9:30 a.m. At 9:30 a.m. on Disney Plus, they had a live animated version of the game set in Andy's room with all the Toy Story characters around. And it was the game. It wasn't some made-up game that they worked really hard on. No, they did it real-time stuff. They had announcers who knew that kids were watching this instead of maybe the actual football game. So they were explaining the rules of the football game and what was called and stuff like that. The animation wasn't perfect, but when you're doing a simulcast, it doesn't have to be, but it was entertaining and it was fun. And to keep kids from being bored, they popped in various Toy Story characters here and there. And they did different types of camera shots using the Toy Stories. And then they did, halftime show with Duke Kaboom and all kinds of other crazy stuff. And it was all done in the Pixar format. And it was wonderful. I absolutely adored the Toy Story Sunday Fun Day game. It was so much fun to watch. As I said, needs some work, but they were simulcasting the game. And there was also a post later on in the week on Facebook that compared the actual game footage with the Pixar one, and it was awesome. And I just love the fact that the announcers, they worked really hard to explain what all the football nomenclature was, so kids who never heard or seen it before would know what was going on. And again, as I said, to keep them from not being bored, they did a bunch of Toy Story stuff in between, stuff like that. And then during commercial breaks, they did trivia questions, and they did 1 or 2 commercials as well. But still, whole lot of fun. I know you can't do it every week, but it would be fun to do one. Maybe the next time to do one might be one of the Thanksgiving games. That might be a fun one to do during then. And maybe a playoff game would be fun to do also. But yes, you don't want to do it every week because it gets boring after a while. But if you pick and choose specific games, then yeah, that would be a lot of fun. So absolutely enjoyed it immensely. Kudos to you, Disney, Pixar, for doing a really good job. As I said, there were some issues with it, but when you were thinking about what they were accompanying and what they were trying to do, it's not that bad of a job that they did. So thank you guys, and hopefully you did not miss it. I was on Facebook just raving about it, so it was great. So that's it for today's episode, Orange October. Next week is Friday the 13th weekend. I will be probably back here 11:30 on the 14th of October. So again, we got a Friday the 13th coming up. We've got more playoff games with the Orioles coming up. Hopefully they will advance. We'll find out this week if they're advancing, because Game 5 will be on Friday. Hopefully they won't have to go that far. Hopefully they'll be done sooner than that, but they need to start by winning later today. They play in about 16 hours. The Ravens play in about 13 hours. So it should be a good, interesting sports weekend continuing here in Baltimore. So as I said, yep, we've got Friday 13th coming up as well in October. We've got the eclipse coming out on Saturday the 14th. So those are going to be the big stories right now, and we'll see what else is coming up here. Maybe we'll have a resolution to SAG-AFTRA. Maybe we'll get whatever new trailers and stuff like that. We'll get that. So we'll find out more later. And hopefully week 3 of the Taylor Travis saga will not be, we hate them, destroy them. Hopefully things have calmed down a little bit, and we'll see how that works out. All right, everybody, thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy that cool temperatures right now. Let's see, it's still 50 degrees here. Oh, we've dropped to 49 degrees, baby. Oh, yeah. Autumn is here. Enjoy it.